Hey guys, back again with another review. This time it's of Assault on Wall Street from 2013, originally titled Bailout, The Age of Greed, which was written and directed by Yuri Boll, and it starred Dominic Purcell, Erin Carplunk, Edward Furlong, John Hurd, Keith David, Michael Paré, Lachlan Monroe and Eric Roberts. So at the beginning of the film we find out that Jim and Rosie Baxford are married. And Rosie has had tumours, but they're gone, and the glands are still acting up. So she needs this injection that costs like $300. I think it's a week, but she has all this other medication as well. So they find out later on that they've reached their cap on their insurance, their medical insurance. So Jim calls them up. Why didn't you tell me this before? I've called you at least 100 times over the past year. That's our policy, sir. And he puts the phone down in anger. He decides he wants to get back his investments from what he's given to his stockbroker on Wall Street. But because the business on Wall Street is dodgy and so forth, we end up finding out that he lost his money, but in turn, he owes them 60 grand, which isn't good because he needs that money for his wife's treatment. We then also find out that he's using all the money on the credit cards to pay for her medicine and her care. As well as losing his job. Yeah, he's in the falling down situation. He then goes to a lawyer Patterson, Eric Roberts, to get some help with this $60,000 charge. Where Eric Roberts' character, Lawyer Patterson, tells him he needs 10 grand to be able to do something. So he hasn't got that 10 grand. He's just got $1,500. So he's meeting up with his friends. He's meeting up with his friends Sean, Freddie and Frank. Freddie and Frank are police officers and Sam's his security partner because they work for a security firm transferring money from one place to another. So he tells them about the problems and he doesn't want to take their money because they want to offer to help him. Throughout the movie, they're there to help him. We want to help you, Jim. So Sean, who's played by Edward Furlong, gives him 10 grand. Well, he gives it to Lawyer Patterson, and Lawyer Patterson doesn't do anything with money, says he calls him too late. So he loses 10 grand. Thus, over a period of time, his wife, she does one of the most silliest things I've ever seen in film, but this is a Yuri Boll film. This is a spoiler. She decides to cut her wrist and kill herself while he's not there. Now, when you go through a really rough period like this, you're going to want to have someone there supporting you. Well, Jim loses that because Rosie kills herself because she thinks that's going to get rid of all the problems, like the medical bills and stuff. But what they forget is he's still going to lose the house. He's still losing everything he's ever had in his world, including his wife, who he's madly in love with, the woman of his dreams, the woman who he's doing all this for in the first place. So that's the best part of the movie gone. That's right. The best part of the movie was all the drama stuff, all the parts where he's trying to get money, the parts where of him and his wife together. Now, it gets to a point, and this is far from an action movie. It says it's an action movie, but it's far from that. He basically goes around just shooting some people. It's not action, if you ask me. It's target practice. Two completely different things. So I did enjoy the characters and I enjoyed the acting from Keith David. Yep, as the police officer. That was it for me. Dominic Purcell is okay, but he's got no emotion in his face. So when you see him think, it gets a little bit like this, but there's no real emotion. There's no real feeling that he's really feeling anything. And even when he starts taking people out, you don't feel like he's really caring. You feel like he's just doing what he has to do to get through the film to make his money. John Hurd's in it, and boy, does he look rough. Same as Edward Furlong. They both look really, really rough. The only difference is Edward Furlong's like 37. And he looks so bad, I tell you. It looks like he's drinking and smoking crack and all sorts of things. And that's not a dig, but that's where he looks. And he doesn't look like the type of person to be working in a security car or a security van. And the first 40 to 50 minutes is fairly okay. Especially the bits with the wife and him. It's good. But after that, the film falls apart. There's no real good storytelling afterwards. the ending is so ridiculous and so unrealistic that people are going to be sitting there going, what? I watched all this just for that silly ending. So overall, I give it a 1 out of 5 because even though I watched it, even though I enjoyed the first half, the second half destroys the film completely. I wish it had been a lot better because I was enjoying the movie in the first part, like I said. But I felt like a lot of unrealistic stuff happened, and I felt like the falling apart was working pretty well before the wife topped herself. It was working pretty well. You could see it was falling apart bit by bit, getting more and more angry. But after she fit, it was like boom, and there was no real grieving period properly. There was shown grieving, but it wasn't the way you'd expect. There was nothing to this movie that felt like it was real after the first 40 minutes. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. 1 out of 5. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Take care and have a lovely day.